Council, WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. Hello. Welcome to Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday evening. I have driven in, as usual, from the Tampa, Florida area, as I do every day. Lovely drive, drive from Tampa. But, man, I hope everybody's having a great evening out there. Nice, beautiful, cool fall weather in the city of Orlando. Love this time of the year. You don't quite need a jacket, but it's just nice to kind of just be outside. You know, it's better than being in the summertime when it's all rainy, humid, blah, blah, blah. But gotta love the city. Wouldn't go anywhere else. Staying right here, man. Let me go ahead and welcome the panel tonight. How you doing tonight, Jeremy?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing all right, man. Miss Monica's back. How's the beautiful, lovely Miss Monica tonight?
Doing great. How's everybody doing?
Awesome. And also the beautiful, lovely Miss McCrae's in the building, fresh off of her FAMU homecoming weekend. So excited, I'm sure.
I'm still recovering.
The Rattlers lost, though, I hear.
But you know what? You don't have to say it like that. Okay? It's not about that all the time.
Did you see the band, Miss McCrae? Was the band good?
See, we're coming back.
Was it good, though? Was it better? Who did y'all play this weekend?
Howard.
Howard. Was it better than Howard's band?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Come on now.
All right.
50 of them.
Listen, we actually are the 100 again. I think it's like
historic.
150, 175. I think it's like
that number keep growing. They started off with like 147, I believe.
Yeah, and maybe I may be
roster.
wrong. It might be 150. But yeah,
somebody better go call the registrar.
We're coming back. You know, all these jokes.
It's all right. They added them classes in the second week. I used
jokes.
to do that too. Now I used to add them classes. You got to drop one and add one.
First week of class.
Good times, man. As always, man. Number 2. Win number 2.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Florida State with number 2 in the BCS.
Yes.
That's what I thought you were talking about. When you said number 2,
no,
that's the only significant number 2 I know of.
I'm not talking about the
Florida State number 2 in the BCS.
They are number 2 in the BCS.
Yes, sir.
Good for them. I hear they're playing Miami in a couple weeks, too.
They got to get through NC State.
Who's also undefeated as well. But, man, no, the Steelers, sir. You know I was talking about the Steelers.
Oh, I had no idea.
The Steelers beat the Ravens this weekend for win number 2. 2-4, baby. We're coming back. We're in the mix. The good thing about that division is that everybody's beating up on each other right now. And I like that because that keeps us in the mix. It's sort of like the NFC East. Everybody's beating up on each other in the NFC East. So no matter what it looks like, they all have a chance. They're probably going to come out 9-7. It's probably going to be the winning schedule for the NFC East, and it probably won't be that for the AFC North there. But we're in the mix. We're not too far off. We're like a game or 2 behind, so I like that. Two or three games, behind. So I like that. Chances are looking better, Miss McCrae.
It's funny, you're optimistic.
Better.
You're optimistic about the Steelers,
yes,
but not about
the
government,
the government,
healthcare,
history,
African American,
history,
the community. I'm just
history has shown us what the government is capable of, Miss McCrae.
Okay,
and there are very few positives.
History will show you what your Steelers gonna do too. I'm just
win
saying.
more Super Bowls. You're
Okay.
absolutely correct. That's
Good
why
luck.
we hold the most Super Bowls out of any team in the league, Miss McCrae. So that is our history, Miss McCrae.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound like a lovely history to hold the most Super Bowls out of any team in the league?
Back in the day.
Sounds
When was
like
the last
great
one again?
history.
When was the last?
It was either 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly. So I mean, it's not too far. We're not
Probably
too far
04.
removed from the last.
And what about the one before that?
It was about 2 or 3 years before the previous one. So
You sure?
All those players have retired
Yes.
by now.
Right. The
yes.
bus.
No, the quarterback that got us there, Miss Monica, is still in the building.
He's still kicking.
Big
Still
Ben
in the
is
building.
older now. He's slowing down.
Still in the
He
building.
limping
that was
around.
almost 10 years ago.
Still in the building.
If he can stay healthy. I mean,
That's the challenge, but we'll get through it, Miss McCray.
okay.
We'll get through it.
All right.
Promise you, Miss
Steelers,
McCray.
we'll
You're
see.
gonna be all right. We'll go on, man. Let's crazy stories in Florida. Why Florida? I got the craziest stories.
No, we don't got the craziest.
You don't think we got the craziest? I
Yeah,
thought
we
this
got-
was
we
pretty
interested
crazy.
in it, but not the crazy.
How do 2 life sentences,
Yeah.
brothers,
Talent.
2 brothers on life sentences, get out of jail with some forged documents?
Yeah.
I saw that story. I was like, are you kidding me?
And they had been out for a while before they told the public, oh, by the way, these 2 fugitives have been in the community for about 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
You may want to watch out for them.
I like how you said it so calm.
Well, that's how they say it in
This
the
just
news,
in.
brother. This just in. 2
Murderers.
murderers are on the release after they forged documents to get them out of jail. And coming up at 6, Don. Tell me
That's
about
the part I don't like.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't like. They cut to something like to the weather. Like that's more important.
Oh, man, but we'll see, man. They're back in jail now, obviously. And so we'll see what happens. I heard Belvin Perry caught the case and actually issued the arrest warrant for them again to bring them back. And I guess he's going to release them back into the Florida correctional system. And hopefully this time they will be able to hold on to these brothers who have life sentences. That's the thing. I mean, didn't anybody question that at some point? Everybody couldn't have been in on the deal, but somebody, how to do 2 life
How did
sentences?
a judge just decide?
Get out.
No, I wouldn't. Remember they forged the documents.
Yeah. But they should have questioned the documents. Like,
What
a
did-
judge sentenced them to life, but then he just changed his mind.
Well, no, they said it was like they had forged documents saying that the sentence was they said they were charged with the wrong crimes,
Oh.
and the sentence was too harsh for the crime they was charged. And I know maybe both of them had been in jail for over 10 years.
Oh,
So it was like they were eligible for release because they had already did what I think like 75% of the time or whatever they were supposed to get according to the documents. And Judge Perry was on it because his name was forged on there. So he wasn't playing.
Right.
He's like, we got to get them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe I didn't see what the whole story was, but I know it was a local attorney whose name was supposed to be on those papers as well.
Jeff Ashton.
No, I'm not talking about the state's attorney. I mean like a defense attorney.
Oh, okay.
No, okay.
Here's the thing, though. So if you know you did something and it's shady and you get released, why go back to your old town? Like, leave the country.
You don't know nothing else.
But they caught them in Panama City, so I'm assuming they were
They were at the beach.
fleeing
But they
south.
came here. They came to Orlando. One came to Orlando.
No, they both did.
Both okay.
Because
Both of them
they had to
came.
register. Well, when you're released
Right.
from jail, you have to
Yeah.
register as a
Register.
felon.
They
Right.
That's
went
the
through
funny part. They
process.
actually went through the process to making it look legit.
Yeah.
Which it actually makes sense if you're really trying to get away.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
does.
okay, let me go register so
was a-
they see
Hey, it
this
was-
is legit.
It was
I
a
got
clever-
paperwork.
They were clever with the plan, man.
Except
They were clever.
They had a good 2 weeks, though.
Yeah.
their
I
family
mean,
was
you got a
like,
life
"Just
sentence. You
go
got to
back."
jail for 2 weeks, bro. Come on. You can't say. You say, hey, I did what I can. I got 2 weeks out. Hey, that's more than I would have had. I mean,
Wow.
This is
I mean,
true,
so
bro.
there's a
Somebody
bright spot
needs
in
to
every
say
story.
Well, hopefully they find out who had the inside
Yeah.
scoop
Somebody's
on
job
how this was supposed to
done.
happen, and they got it done.
It'll come out eventually. It'll
Eventually.
come out eventually. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Update on a local story, man. It sounds like I was reading an article earlier today about the vote for whether or not we were going to get the soccer stadium. And hundreds of people apparently lined up to either voice their opinion for or against it. And looking at an article now that seems to suggest it's coming, man. We got soccer. Major League Soccer seems to be on its way to Orlando. You guys excited about that?
Of course.
Be looking for those free tickets.
You're gonna be looking for some free tickets, Miss Monica?
Free tickets.
You're gonna get you some free tickets, Miss McCray?
Mm-hmm.
You hoping to get some free tickets?
Yeah, soccer has to grow on me. I only like it. I don't only like it overseas. Like I watch, like was it Manchester and
The
Chelsea?
English Premier League.
Yeah, because those people are in it. So our teams, although there's a team in Seattle that is really, really something else. It's bringing that flavor of the European leagues to, and actually brought one of their players back to the U.S. to play for. I saw it on Real Sports, but we'll see. I'm learning with football.
Football. The original football.
Yeah, the original.
Football.
Well, it ain't like us. We just go take a name. Football. The ball barely touched the foot.
We are Americans. That's what we do, brother.
Football.
Yes,
Got
we
the
take
world.
over
Got the world champions. We don't play nobody.
That's
The
right,
best in
man.
the world.
Best in the world. We ain't played nobody. But that's all right, brother. That's how we do it in America, brother. We take what we want. Yeah, man, coming to downtown Orlando, right down the street from where the Amway the Amway Center, the Amway Center is located, man. So we'll see. Right across, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right across from where the what's those apartments called, brother? City View, is that what it is?
Could not tell you.
City View, is that what those apartments called? City View? I think it's gonna be right across from that. But
Okay.
we'll see, man. Orlando soccer, I'll have to go check it out, man. I remember as a kid, man. As far as the sports that I played as a kid, I think soccer ranks as number one on my list, man. I don't know about you, brother. I know you played too.
No.
What's the number one on your list, brother?
You know, almost about that round ball.
I love basketball too, man. But there's something about the adrenaline rush, running down the field, playing the wing.
It was.
Come
Don't
on.
get me wrong. Soccer is fun to play, if you know how to play.
If you know how to play.
Number one. Like I said, if they do a thing where they're giving out free tickets, I'll definitely go and take the family. I would definitely go check it out. You know, hopefully they don't the people in the stands don't get too rowdy and too inebriated.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they try to mimic European fans, those people get crazy.
No, crazy is not what they get. That's a whole nother. We
That's a
don't
whole
even got
nother
words
level.
to describe how
It's
the Europeans act.
dangerous.
And they are, passionate beyond belief. They're radical Muslim
Hooligans.
passion. When it comes
Yeah,
to
that's
football.
about right.
They're radical Muslim passion. They will kill you if it comes.
Really,
to
I mean,
if it comes down to it, sometimes.
You know,
But,
even
you got to
this-
be careful with that one.
even in South America, them teams lose. Some of them players sometimes get kidnapped and
Yeah,
murdered and
Yeah.
stuff. Come on, bro.
Not
Sports.
right.
It's more to life. especially you're not even the one on the field and you
Right.
that mad.
Right. As they say, it's just a football game. It's just a football game.
Football.
That's
Just
a
a
waste of
football game.
money.
But,
Somebody's gotta pay.
We'll see, man. I'm definitely going to try and go down when it all goes down. See what the experience is like. Make it happen. We'll see, man. It's going to definitely change the landscape yet again of downtown Orlando. So it'll be interesting to see how that landscape changes, where they push some of those residents that they don't want to be in and around that arena on a consistent basis, where they push them to, where they move them to, however they plan to, bring about that transition. We'll see how that goes. I think that's going to be even the more interesting part of this story.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man. I guess we'll find out soon enough, because it just seems to be official now. It is coming. Not surprised, though. I mean, they wanted this. They wanted to quote unquote beautify downtown even more. I was looking at an article, and it was saying that some of the funds that are going to be appropriated for this project are a part of a bigger package deal that they were approving that was also funding the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center that they're trying to finish downtown. It also has funds in it for the Citrus Bowl renovations that are taking place. There's also going to be money in there for tourism ads, as well as additional monies coming from the city. So when I was reading the article and it started talking about how this was a bigger plan to revamp the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center and for the Citrus Bowl, I was like, oh, okay, this is a done deal. Because they're going to finish the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center.
Right.
Obviously, it's taken them. I mean, how long have they been doing construction down there? I know seems like at least 5 or 6 years. It seems that at least that.
Yeah.
But so I know they're going to finish that project. So when I saw funds were in there for that and the Citrus Bowl, they've been trying to renovate the Citrus Bowl for years and still haven't got to the point where they want the Citrus Bowl to be. But so I was like, okay, this is a done deal. You know, protest all you want. This is happening. But we'll see. We'll see what they do to the people, man. And, you know, we'll see if it beautifies the city as they hope. Or does it just kick out the residents?
You know, it was interesting. I saw some clips of the town hall meeting, and you know, obviously most of the residents were against it. But I know a couple of business owners, they were like, if it's going to bring more people, obviously they were for it. And then I remember one resident stood up and was saying, you know, if you want life to be better or you want things to be better, you got to be willing to accept change. So things can't get better holding on to the past. And you know, he was referring to a lot of people were saying how deep the roots are in the community and things of that nature. But it was just interesting to see somebody else, one of the other residents, say, you know, we need to embrace change if we want things to get better. Which is, to an extent, I can understand what he's trying to say.
I guess, brother. We'll see. Like I said,
at what cost? Right?
At what cost? Exactly. It's always a cost.
Okay,
so.
Here's my thing. Why don't we just appropriate them funds? You want to clean it up? Just go in and let's just clean it up. We don't need a stadium. Let's just clean it up. You know.
Yeah.
Let's fix up some of them broken down apartment complexes. Let's fix up some of the houses. You know, the unoccupied land. You know, you can do something with that stuff. How about increase the police presence?
Well, you know that's going to happen too once they revamp.
When they revamp the stadium, but when
they revamp, they're also in the process of revamping the police department down there. So when that happens, that's going to beef up police.
It's going to beef up police when the stadium get there. Just like the police magically show up when there's a Magic game everywhere around there. Now go around there when ain't no Magic game, and just sit there. And see how many you see. That's all I'm trying to say. And well, this is a little same subject but off subject. Well, I remember when I went to Chicago. You know, Chicago been having all this violence. I was in Chicago, and I was just sitting. We was outside, and I was just sitting and noticing all this killing that's been going on for all these years. And we literally sat there about an hour before I saw one police car. See what I'm saying? It's the same everywhere. I'm sorry, that's off subject. Y'all go ahead.
Your rant.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's just funny, you know, how all of a sudden the areas need protecting when certain things come to town or things get put in place, or all of a sudden the city want to invest in the area, you know.
Well, you know, it's the classic story. How do you bring down the property value? You bring down the property value by allowing the crime rate to go up. And once the crime rate is up, the property value comes down. It becomes very easy for big corporations to come in, scoop in, buy the land for cheap, which is what they want to do in the first place.
Right.
And then once they buy that land for cheap, they convert it and make it into something bigger and better that the current surrounding community is typically not a part of the equation when that occurs. And so, I mean, it's classic business, if you will.
Yeah, that's
classic big
business.
That's how big business works. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and I doubt anytime soon it will be changing. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number here. There was a couple other stories I wanted to mention here. Obamacare. Numbers are coming out on that. I know that's a big deal going on right now. Read a couple of articles on that. I'll mention this. They reported that apparently approximately 476,000 people have at least logged on and signed up and registered for the site. They haven't released how many people have actually purchased anything yet, but that's how many people have registered for the site so far. So I guess things are progressing well. I know Ms. McCrae's excited about that. You know, I read something else, though, that kind of blew my mind. Kathleen Sebelius talked about obviously there's been a lot of problems also with the website, and she suggested that the president was just made aware of all of the different issues people are having just a few days ago, as she described it. And it's like, really? They've been talking about that for 4 weeks almost.
Since October 1st.
Like, how he just got wind
Since it
that
launched.
there's been some issues with the,
He's trying to see
with the
around.
website.
He doesn't have time about website issues.
He know.
But Consumer Reports was talking about obviously they actually recruited Verizon. Apparently the government has some kind of contract, IT contract with Verizon. So they recruited Verizon to come in and step in and try and fix all of these computer glitches and see and kind of clear that problem up. Consumer Reports talked about how if you are interested in it, you should probably just wait it out for another month. And then in that month, at the end of that month, try it again. Hopefully they will have worked out all of the current glitches that are out there and be good to go for the good people of the U.S. All of these
Yes.
lovely folks going to healthcare.gov, right? Did you go, Miss McCray? Did you go?
I'm going to wait.
Oh, you're
I'm gonna-
waiting.
I-
Okay. You're going
like-
to follow Consumer Reports. Huh?
But like anything, like when Apple has a new update, I always wait a little bit until all the chaos and everything calms down and then go into it. So I was going to wait anyway.
Ah, okay.
Booyah.
Booyah. What about you, Miss Monica? Did you check it out, Miss Monica?
I have not. I actually just have benefits from my employer, so I'm just gonna.
You never know, Miss Monica. You might go on and qualify for some subsidies.
I doubt it. Not too optimistic about that. So just head on over to the employer benefits.
4789416. And I honestly don't bring it up to disparage it, Miss McCray. No, I know that's what you're thinking, Miss McCray. I'm bringing it up because people should know, Miss McCray, to go try it out. People are having
should try it.
amazing results for
My
those
sister
people
tried it.
that are getting through, man. Especially when you have larger families, families 3 or 4 people, and or even more for that matter, and you're not making $100,000 a year. If you're making, with a family of 3 or 4, and you're making anywhere in the range of about 30,000 to about 85, I think 86,000, maybe even a little bit higher, you might qualify for some kind of subsidy through the federal government plans. So check it out. See how it compares to your plan. I was reading today, apparently approximately 300,000 people are getting dropped in Florida from some of the insurance plans that they currently have. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm sure you'll hear the screams and the hollers. A lot of it, though, has to do with the fact that the Affordable Care Act has minimums that a policy needs to cover. And so the people getting dropped don't have the minimums in their current policies. So they're being dropped from that. And then they're, obviously going to have to sign up for a new policy, which covers all of those minimums. So, it's true that you're dropping, but they're trying to give you a better quality insurance. The problem is that better quality insurance might actually cost more. And that's going to be the issue because nobody wants to pay more. Everybody wants to pay less, right?
Right.
I want to pay
And
less.
that's what we're supposed to.
Exactly. So you're going to have some complaints. And, that's been one of the big talking points, especially from the right. People are paying more, but they're paying more because, you're getting more in the policy now. So if you don't qualify for these subsidies, yes, you're gonna pay more because you're getting more, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Miss McCray.
Until they need
But
it.
it makes sense. But it makes sense.
Until they need it.
Yeah, the policy I had with my job, they actually are doing away with. So I have to get a new policy. I was watching CNN last night. That was a miracle. But I don't know what made me turn to CNN. But I usually try to stay away from it. Life is bad enough. But anyway, not bad, but you know what I'm saying. And they had a report, people were saying, reports are going to be biased to what the point they're trying to get across. And they had a lot of people who were, some of them were dropped from their insurance or their current plan. They had to get another plan. And obviously, like I said, the plan was more expensive. And they had one business owner on there, and he was in the same situation. And they grabbed a few different people. And they were all saying, well, I thought it was supposed to be more affordable. Isn't it what the point of it was?
Only if you qualify for subsidies.
Yeah. Then
Right.
then they had the one lady. She was like, and I didn't qualify for subsidies. And I'm looking around. I'm like, hold on, is you your husband? I'm looking at the house in the brown. What you need a subsidy for? Now, if you can't afford health insurance, you don't need an insurance agent. You need a financial planner.
Right.
You feel me? And I think that's what a lot of the arguments you hear. That's, to me, it's like a mismanagement of funds. Because what's more important, your mortgage or your health insurance for your family?
Well, you have to remember.
Overextended yourself sometimes,
Well, you have to remember, too, what a lot of people do when they have, funds available to them is what they'll do is that they don't buy your typical health insurance plan. What they purchase was a plan that covers more catastrophic events. Because, a lot of times, if you do your research, a lot of doctors, you can go see the doctor for a lot cheaper than what it would cost you to pay $300 or $400 a month to cover your family, or more sometimes, to cover your family for the year. Because you can go see most people go see the doctor about once or twice a year.
Right.
A lot of doctors charge anywhere from $100, maybe $150 for that one doctor's visit, right? And so you can pay that in cash, if you can afford it. And then you'll have your catastrophic insurance so that if you get cancer, you have insurance to cover all of your cancer treatments. And then you have a nice little chunk of change set aside already to cover any upfront expenses that might incur. So when you have those types of policies, it's not that I don't have the money to pay for my health insurance, is that I had already planned, for my catastrophic event, and I can pay for my, my doctor visits, So and so it becomes, again, people who have money because they find ways to save money. And so if I found a way to save money through my health insurance, when you tell me now I got to go get this new plan, and it covers, all of my preventative care, blah, 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 blah. But if I got money, I can pay for my preventative care. I'm good on that. What I don't want, though, is to pay $500 or $600 a month or more, depending on my situation, for a health insurance plan that I had, when I was already covered, if you will, previous to that. So that's the argument. And you to be fair, you understand it. You understand it. If I was paying a couple $100 a month and I can cover, and it'll cover me if I get cancer, and now I got to pay $500 a month to cover me for all this. Yes, it's extra stuff, but how do I have my millions of dollars? Because I found ways to save money. Now you're forcing me to pay an extra $300 a month.
Mm-hmm. Plus
Find a way.
deductibles, plus copay, plus co-insurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it.
I ain't saying I don't get it.
It makes sense.
All I'm saying is
it makes sense, but it just depends on which side of the argument that you're on, and you're never going to please everybody.
exactly.
So that's what it comes down to. You're never going to please everybody. At the end of the day, there's going to be probably a lot more individuals, well, maybe not a lot more, but there'll be just as many individuals, we'll say, on either side who are qualifying for all of these subsidies that are out there. That's what it's about, right, Mr. McCray? Now, that's a dig. But, who qualify for all these subsidies who will bring down their insurance and get that lovely, affordable health care. That's what I'm talking about. Healthcare.gov, man. Check it out.
A mess.
Find your savings. That's what I'm talking about. It's free money, Ms. McCray. Of course you're supposed to take it. Why not? Is that right?
Move on.
407
Move on.
407-894-1680
I'm
is
done
the number.
with you.
407-894-1680 is the number. We'll move on, man. October, last week we talked a little bit about breast cancer. That's always big in the month of October. In addition to that, though, the month of October is also Domestic Violence Month as well. So I would refuse to end the show or end this month without at least talking about that.
Okay, hold on. Real
topic.
question before we get too deep into this. Why are these two in the same month?
I don't know, brother. That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't create it.
I understand that, but you understand what I'm trying to say? Both of these, to me, are real serious issues. Or is it? Are they trying to kind of lump it together because it's more focused on women? Or that, I guess. But I just think domestic violence. I mean, I know nobody these days. You can't have your own month because every month is something now. But I just think two heavy issues could kind of be separated. But that's just my piece. I'm done. Go ahead.
Write a letter to your senator, sir.
There you go.
We're gonna have Jeremy month.
Get them to change that, brother. But yeah, so it is Domestic Violence Month, and we all know how tragic of an event domestic violence is. I have to say in my job, actually have a student of mine that is going through that currently, and as a result, she's actually trying to leave one area and escape to another area to get away from it. The sad part about her particular situation to me is that it's a high-profile person who her domestic violence is occurring from, and her choice is to not want to ruin that person, so she deals with it and then make sure that it doesn't get out anywhere because she is afraid that it would ruin that person. Forget what she's going through. Wow. She's protecting him because she would hate to think that person would lose something that they have. Isn't that blows my mind?
It blows mine too.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, it doesn't blow my mind.
It happens every day. I know that. But just
normal.
Just that thought. It's amazing.
It's all about the manipulation game.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
that, these women that are victims of domestic violence, they often are very compassionate and caring about the people who are abusing them because they still feel this quote unquote love towards this person, even though they are, being abused by them. And it's difficult for a lot of them to leave. And they rationalize with things like you just mentioned, or there's lots of other things that they will tell themselves on why they can't leave or why they shouldn't out this person on what they're doing. So it's sad.
Wow, that's something.
Mm-hmm.
It is. There was one particular event where she was missing for a few days, and when she returned, fair-skinned person will call her, and so obviously anything that happens to her shows up very easily. It's like looking at a white wall, if you will, and just to see what her face looked like when she came back, and to think, sat down, talked with me, and said, broke it down, yeah, but I don't want to do anything because it would ruin what he has going on and blah blah blah. So she took the easy route in order to fix her broken jaw. In order to fix her broken jaw, she made sure it got done under the table so that nobody would find out about it. Just amazing. Blown away by that particular situation.
You wonder, it's like who, and most times when situations like that, the person the abuser has isolated that young lady or that person from their family and friends, because I'm wondering if my sister or my best friend is going through something like that or is missing and then shows up obviously abused, I'm going to kidnap her away from this person. Like, I don't like, let me tell you how bad it is. I don't even like watching What Love Got to Do with It, that movie.
I don't like watching that either.
I
That movie's
cannot
crazy.
watch them. I get so angry. Like, I don't know why I get so angry. And I didn't like Lawrence Fishburne for a very long time. Let me just say.
Let it go.
I know. I was like, I know
it was a character.
He's a character. I know. It took me a long time to like really watch whatever he was in because I would just see him as Ike. And I cannot watch those movies and I cannot stand by. And I know people who have been through this and friends, and I've lost friendships because I'm the one, hey, no, don't do this. And then they keep going back, but then you're calling me crying and I'm picking you off the floor, but then you go back to him. What? I'm going to fight him. we're gonna get this. I'm gonna get you out of this the best way that I can. And eventually, it's pulling me down, so I have to let you go and do your own thing as a grown woman and pray to God that you don't, he doesn't end up killing you, which is what happens most of the time. But it blows my mind, and it's easy. It's people that you would not think. Sometimes it's an individual that's easy to be manipulated. I can't talk right now. But then it's the person that you don't think, they come off strong on everything else.
Oh, of course, they're charming.
Except that.
That's that they try to portray their confidence in those situations outwardly in public. They get behind closed doors. Unfortunately, a lot of women are like that. Not even just from an abusive standpoint, when they're at work or they're out and about, they're so strong. When they get in these relationships, even if it's not a situation of abuse, you be like, hold on, aren't you strong? What you mean you can't come to the house? But you can't go to the movies with your girls with no more? You understand what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Well, I think even as far as the abusers, they come off as being very charming and likable people, and it's not always males. There are abusing females as well. And so people gravitate to them, and that's when they start to get into the minds of people who have lower self-esteem or who, are dependent on being with someone, and they start to use that power and control over that particular person, and no one else thinks that because they're like, oh, Johnny is great. What do you mean he's hitting on you? That can't happen. And so it causes the victim to question, okay, well, nobody's going to believe me anyway. And then that always comes back where the abuser's going to tell them that, of course, you can go and tell somebody, but I'm just going to make this story up. So you're just wasting your time. And so it just, it's a cycle. It's a very vicious cycle.
Sad.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. I was reading an article about a study that was done recently. Study was done by the Violence Policy Center, it's called, and talking about domestic violence. And the study suggests the Violence Policy Center, their national organization, they call it Working to End Gun Deaths. Can't talk today either, Ms. McCray. It's both of us. And so what was found in this story is that it said 94% of the black women killed, and this was based off research from 2011, but 94% were killed by, black women were killed by people that they knew. 94% of them were killed by people they knew. More often than not, they were either the wife, the ex-wife, or the girlfriend of the person who killed them. 94%. 94%. That number just glares at you. 6% away from 100. 94% of the people black women killed were killed by either they were the wife, the ex-wife, or the current girlfriend, or perhaps ex-girlfriend as well. Which again, sad reality. They describe it that nearly all murders always are murder. Nearly all women murders are usually by someone that they know.
For African American women, 2/3. Here's the thing. Every week it's an article about black women. Like it's you don't want none of parts of this life here. So, as an African American woman, first of all, if you are able to even get a man, right?
Uh-oh.
The statistics tell us that as educated black women, we're not even gonna find one. Marriage is out of the question. One. Then two, if we do get married, he might kill us. Or beat us.
Or might go to jail.
It's a hard life out here for black women. Y'all don't understand. Like when I pulled this up, I was like, great. Just one more thing that's on our plate that we have to face with. So if I get a man, like I said, if I get a man who is about something, one, then I got to worry about he might go crazy and beat me and kill me.
But there's red flags. There always are those red
Absolutely.
flags, and so, you really have to not be in a position to want to be in a relationship so bad that you don't see these things. I mean, the moment that he starts to isolate you from your friends and from your family, red flag, big giant banner. The moment that he starts to want to rush things and all of a sudden you've been dating for 2 months and he wants to get married already, big red flag. You know, if he starts to get jealous over little silly things and want to know and keep track of your every whereabout, if he wants to know how much money you bring in, he wants to now control that money. He wants to know where you bought certain things. He wants to be everywhere with you at all times. Those are all red flags. But we just think, oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
He wants to know I'm at the mall, baby. That's all. Who you with?
That's the problem.
Exactly. I don't play them. And I think I'm a little bit too sensitive to those things. Like if the smallest thing happened, I'm like, wait a minute. Dated a guy, great guy. Every time my phone would ring, who is that? Let me see your phone. Excuse me? You don't pay my bill? We are not married. I was like, oh no, we got to go. Next thing I hear, he's with some chick and he did whatever. Now, not to say, and then that brings up another issue too. There's a lot of conversation lately about when dating somebody who you already know has a history of violence, domestic abuse. And two parts to that for me. You don't know how that particular relationship was. That woman may have been an instigator, not to say that there's any reason to go and beat up a woman. I'm not saying that. You don't know how tumultuous that relationship was, one. So how he was with that woman, he might not be that way with you. I would hesitate. Anyway, I would be on guard. But you don't know people's situations. I know people who have a history of that, and from what I understand in this current relationship, they're fine. So it really just depends on the person. I'm just really, my antennas are up on a lot of those things.
And they should be.
They should be. Exactly.
I don't think you, especially like as a woman, I don't think you ever be too careful. You know, well, maybe I'm being too sensitive. No, maybe you like living.
You like the position of your nose.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You never be too careful. You know, obviously you want to be sensitive to things like that. That's why always somebody asks me, it's like, oh, like that stuff you was talking about, Miss Monica, the people was talking about it's cute. Oh, I went to the store. He asked me how long I was going to take. That ain't cute. I said, he crazy. You better leave him alone. That's that's the sign. That's it. Right? Yeah. 6 months from now, you're like, well, he didn't do that when he asked you how long it's gonna take you to go get some gum, that was it.
Because it escalates.
You just chose to ignore it then, because it was funny then.
Yeah, it escalates from that little cute, oh, he's a little jealous or whatever, and then it just goes to something else real fast.
Right, and there's so many different ways of doing it, you know, using intimidation, if you have children together, using the kids, if you're married, using the finances, not allowing you to work so that he can be able to control you financially, or taking the funds that you have and issuing them out as an allowance so that he knows you can't leave because you don't have money to go anywhere.
Right.
You know, there's just so many different ways that we have to know before we get into these situations, you know, and keep your ears and eyes open and not just be like, oh, he cares so much about where I am. He put a GPS on my car. That's so nice.
Girl,
right.
listen.
It's not cute.
Not
He just
cute.
trying to make sure you safe.
Whatever.
He's want to track your every whereabouts.
He's trying to protect you, huh, Jeremy?
Yeah.
But you said it with controlling like the money and what you can do. Like my mother raised me, you know, when I meet a husband, I'm not afraid to submit to him as a wife and let him lead and do those things.
Amen.
But she also wanted me to be my own woman and be prepared, be educated, make your own money, make your own decisions, so that just in case he decided to act a fool, you can be gone. And if that means put your little stash away just in
I
case.
see. I was just going to say something about that.
I'm just
You
saying.
you ain't like what was the show? Girlfriends, no, Back to Fresno Fun or whatever that was.
I'm
she
just
had.
saying. Listen.
I'm not going back to Fresno Fun.
Yeah,
I'm
something
not
like that.
going back to Fresno
Back to
Fun.
Fresno,
Exactly. Just, hey, we got to be prepared nowadays.
I would say I mean, honestly, situations like these, especially now, it done got crazy. Actually, it always been crazy. Now it's just more
It's more
reported.
publicized.
You know, back in the 50s, and, well, prior to like the 60s, and so it was kind of an accepted thing. You know, especially if you were married, and your husband was quote unquote doing what he had to do to keep his house in order or whatever the case may be. But you know, nowadays, you know, just can't be too careful. You know. It's sad. People are doing, I don't know, some of these dudes, they just tripping. They ain't even know the word to say.
Yeah.
And the people out here killing the kids and the wife. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
That's
Yeah,
And,
What little Johnny do?
and with very little, recourse, really. I mean, even in cases where you call the police and someone goes to jail, they usually are only in jail for maybe 24, 48 hours, and then they're released. Then you have to deal with the repercussions of that. And if you do decide to, pursue a charge towards them, you have to generally testify and write a statement, and then you have to deal with
show up in
being
court.
right,
It's a
being
process.
intimidated by showing up in court, and then you just hope and pray that they get a long enough sentence for you to be able to get out of there, so that he doesn't find you or doesn't know someone that will look for you. And so there's just so many things that if you can prevent it,
right.
and try, you can't prevent everything, but if you can just put yourself in a position where you can get help immediately, that helps you be able to find that way out.
But like the situation with Marissa Alexander, her ex-husband, she put a restraining order out against him. He violated that and still came to the house. Now she's in jail.
Right.
What? Hopefully that can be resolved, but that's a prime example. She did the steps. She did what she was supposed to do on a legal aspect, and then the legal system didn't protect her.
Right.
Those are the things I don't understand. You know, in this world, you can sue for anything. That's the stuff we need to be able to sue for. I mean, come on. Like you said, now she's sitting in jail,
Yeah.
Right.
trying to protect herself.
He violated.
And she looking crazy,
the law.
like, what in the world is really going on?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this dude? Who does he know?
Well, it goes back to, the manipulation of the way the law is written, and you can manipulate it. A lot of times they manipulate it to work in the favor of the person that they can catch. And I think in this particular case, they could probably get a lot more done if they prosecuted her for shooting that gun in the house than they could in prosecuting him for, violating the restraining order. And so they probably went for the case that they can close the easiest. And I don't think anybody agrees that it was the right decision to make. But they're about, a lot of times, they're about the conviction
Yeah, and that's what I was
and
going to say.
closing that deal.
That's another issue that people don't realize about when you're talking about the prosecution or the prosecutor's office. You talking about elected officials. That's a very big thing to vote for. Your district attorneys, your state's attorneys, because are you voting for someone who's actually in there trying to bring about justice, or are they just trying to improve their conviction rate so when they retire they can go into practice and charge higher rates or get hired by that big law firm downtown, because they got a high conviction rate? Because what was that? Medea Goes to Jail. Shed a little light on that. When that Medea Goes to Jail, I don't know. Don't act like y'all ain't seen.
I don't-
Medea movie. Oh no, we got
I don't
nothing but Spike Lee
remember.
fans up in here.
Brother,
now.
I don't think I did see Medea Goes.
But anyway, it hit the movie. It was one of the young ladies in there. She was a prosecutor, and come to find out, she was to pad her stats. She was withholding evidence, hiding evidence, and getting these people these long sentences for misdemeanor crimes or getting them bumped up to felonies to pad her stats. But that's a real situation. Things like that happen all the time. Just like you say the police are crooked. When people say the police are crooked, they're not the only ones. They're not doing it by themselves. You know, they not up there when they falsifying evidence. You got to remember, they're not doing it. No, they don't get so much credit for all these cases getting drawn guilty. The prosecution get more credit, so they're doing it for them. So, you know, with this show and how Brother Real is all about the politics, pay attention to who you're voting for state's attorney.
Definitely.
Please pay attention. That is a very important elected official that not enough importance is placed on, that we don't talk about so much, you know. Yeah, that city commissioner might help you with that pothole, but that state's attorney will send you away for that little small bag of weed. You might get them 5 years. You be like, hold on. I know some people free that got caught with weed. How I'm sitting in jail. That's the one you voted for.
That's the one you voted for.
Trying to improve the Orange County drug conviction rate.
Exactly. Or just the conviction rate, period.
Oh, exactly. I mean,
same thing goes for Orange County, the sheriff of your particular county. Same thing goes for that. You got to pay attention to that stuff because, you never know. They'll arrest you for not having a barber's license.
Hey, you don't be talking about my sheriff, man.
Oh, boy.
Talking about my sheriff.
That's fire.
It's the same thing, brother. It's the same thing.
I'm just saying.
Propping up the arrest rates in the city. Barber's license. Really? Barber's license. We'll move on from that.
All I know is I'm safer.
Moving on.
All I know is I'm safer. Even to get me pulled over.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Miss Monica, for those that are not aware, Miss Monica is an official licensed counselor.
Yes.
She can help you at any time down at her counseling center. Just
she's helped me a lot.
Thank you, Brother Jeremy. I appreciate that.
I'm a little touched.
From a counselor's perspective, what advice do you give women who find themselves currently in that situation? What would you say to them?
First and foremost, I definitely would suggest that you start to create a safety plan. There are lots of organizations out there that can help you with that information. You can go and look up domestic violence. You can Google that, and there's the American Association of Domestic Violence, I believe is the name of it. But as soon as you put domestic violence in Google, you'll come up with lots of information, and they will tell you how to create a safety plan, how to get out of the situation. There are organizations even in Orange County. The Harbor House of Central Florida is an option that you can contact, and they will share with you how to do this secretly so that no one else is aware of what is going on. Even the websites that you go to, they do have panic buttons, so it will shut down the window immediately if you feel that someone is watching you or even has a bug on your computer. They have processes to keep that from happening. Help Now of Osceola County is an option, and the Seminole County Victims' Rights Coalition is also an option. We'll definitely put that information on the Real Family Talk Facebook page, all the phone numbers. But you have to seek safety. This is not okay. And there are organizations and people there to help you. And they definitely have as many resources as they can to give you to find that way out. Don't deal with this alone.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll put that information up on the Real Family Talk Facebook page. So I'll be looking for that. That'll be up. I'm sure if I know Brother Jeremy, he's typing right now.
Am I?
So that'll definitely be up. Certainly. By the time the show closes here in the next 5 minutes. So definitely be aware of it. Be aware of anybody you might know who having dealing with these particular issues, and let them know where they can find some help. More importantly, just let them know that you love them no matter what.
Absolutely.
And that you'll be there for them, whatever decision they make, because ultimately it is their decision. As much as we want to just grab them and pull them out sometimes, they have to really make the decision themselves to want to get out, because otherwise they will run back and and you kind of you feel bad and you're disappointed, but it's as they say, love is a powerful thing sometimes. So, and a lot of times it's misunderstood as well. But they have to make their own decisions. But just be there for them and love them, and hopefully they too will get out of that situation eventually.
Right. And be patient, as you were saying, J-Ro. It's we from the outside feel like, well, what are you doing? Doesn't this make sense that this is wrong and that, this is dangerous and you should get out of it? But we have to understand that there is an emotional component to this that makes us do things that are not very rational. And so because of the cycle of domestic violence, and because usually after a domestic violence incident, they have the honeymoon period, they tell themselves, okay, he said he's not going to do it anymore. He said things are going to get better. He said if I do this, that things will change. So we're going to work this out and we're going to try this again. And we have to be patient to not get frustrated with them so that we lose that connection. Because the most important thing is that we can stay connected to them to make sure that they're okay and to be there when they do decide that they have created the safety plan and they need somebody to help them get out. Otherwise, if we isolate ourselves from them, they have no one and they're more than likely going to stay where they are.
Awesome. So yeah, we're winding down here just to kind of ease up a little bit. A couple quick stories I want to talk about as we close out the show here. Last night, I'm sure people, some of you anyway, I know this is the Christian station, the gospel station, but I know some of y'all were TLC fans.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I loved it.
I had to. I had to watch the movie last night. I called my wife.
You had to.
She was she's a number 8 fan. I'm gonna call her. She's not the number 1 fan. The number 1 fan would have had the CDs out. They would have been playing the CDs all day today.
That was me. I'm guilty. It felt good. It just felt good. It took me back. So I was jamming all day today. What about your friend?
But it wasn't bad, man. Shout out to Lil Mama. Lil Mama did a really good job.
She killed it.
Keke Palmer was okay, and the chick from that played T-Boz. I don't know who she is.
Drew Sidora.
But I wasn't impressed with her though.
Okay. Well,
shout out to Lil Mama. Lil Mama was really good.
They did a good job in casting though. They may not have done the performance, but as far as like looking the part, they did good.
They definitely did a good job looking the part. Learned some stuff about the history that I did not know.
Yeah.
And that Pebbles is a crook. She's a female crook.
You didn't know that?
Woo!
I'm sorry. I saw that.
Female
If you
crook.
saw the behind the music, they kind of put you up on some.
Female crook. I mean, and to be fair, she's not doing anything that they haven't been doing for years. But a lot of times when you think of women, you think the woman's not going to do another woman wrong. That's not what women do to each other.
Listen, Pope Pebbles on her Twitter last night, folks were going in.
Yes.
They found her child. I guess her son is a teenager, or maybe he's in his 20s, and he was like, I didn't like how they portrayed my mom. He shouldn't have sent that tweet, because that was it. That's all it took for people to just jump on him. And it's like, okay, guys.
Hey, we like the way your mom.
Right. People went in. I laughed a good 2 hours after the film was over, just cracking up at the
black,
memes.
the black Twitter.
Twitter, just comedians.
Oh, there's Black Twitter. I didn't know that.
We'll talk about it.
Catch me up now.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
It's a term.
It's a term.
It's not
I
just
understand
for
that.
black
I'm just
people.
saying.
Okay, we'll talk.
Don't worry, brother. I just found out about it a couple weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I found out about it. But something else was happening, and they told me, Black Twitter is going crazy.
Yes.
Oh, when Mitt Romney put a picture up of his newly adopted black son, that is his son adopted a little black boy
Named Kieran, which in Irish means the dark one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
I'm just saying.
Thank y'all
We'll
for
leave you
listening,
on
man.
that
This
one.
is J Real. This is Gospel 1680 WOKB, Orlando's gospel music channel. Listen live at WOKBradio.com and tune in and on the TuneIn app. We'll see you next week. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk, the website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
It's Gospel 1680 WOKB 10 o'clock. J Real and the family, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for just coming in and letting go and let the Lord use you. My brother Chris Shaw bringing you the best at Gospel at this 10 o'clock hour. We get